The Olympic Games in Munich were my final Olympic Games, and they're 2 weeks long, and the first week is rowing events, and I had finished my rowing competition before we had the terrorists come into the Olympic Village. And so my wife had come over. We'd been married for 4 years at that time, and she had come over to Munich and was staying at a hotel while I was living in the Olympic Village. But after my competition, I moved out of the village and went over to the hotel. And one day we were coming early in the morning to come into the village to pick up some of my equipment. We were going to get on the internal bus system where you get on the buses inside the village, and they're sanitized and protected, and they drive out and get inside a venue so that you go from inside a venue to inside a venue rather than trying to go whatever. So I had fake ID for her that was a gymnast ID, and I gave her one of my Canadian team jackets. And as we were approaching the gate of the village, there was this layer upon layer of security and people and everyone checking badges and whatever. And I said, something's wrong here, and something's gone wrong. And I just said, just hold your badge out and come with me. And we went right through the village, or right through the gates and into the inside of the village. And there was an American girl walking towards us. And I said, what's going on? And she said, I think there's some terrorist activity. We don't know a lot, but they've secured the building and there's police everywhere. And the building was the Israeli accommodation, which was right beside the Canadian accommodation. So we went around the back of the building and into my apartment and got what I needed, and we left for the day. And that evening, watching on television, we watched the actual terrorists with their hostages leaving the village by special police van to get on a plane. And as everyone knows, the van was detonated by the terrorists, and it was a very, very, very sad moment. So the games were half over, and the next morning, the International Olympic Committee, under the president of Avery Brundage, had this issue about what do we do? Do the games continue? Do the events scheduled for that next day continue? What happens? So they had a memorial service, and they flew in the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra from Berlin, and they played a requiem mass in the main stadium with all of us who were available, athletes and coaches and whatever, to actually sit there and give tribute to the Israeli athletes. So it was a very, very, very sad moment for the Olympic movement and obviously for the Israelis and their Olympic Committee and the families of the athletes. But the games continued, and those that had to pick up the pieces and keep competing had to keep competing. And there was, for me, it was also personal because my father died when I was competing in those games the first week. So I had a personal tragedy, and this other tragedy happened at the same time. So it was one of life's moments, right? And you suck it up and move on.